English Learning Podcast.
From Easy English with Class.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are tackling a very specific type of social nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the one where you show up to work without pants.
Although that is a classic. A terrifying one.
It is terrifying, right?
Yeah.
No, this is the one where you show up without words.
The silent freeze.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've got a whole stack of really interesting articles here, stuff on communication psychology, language learning.
Yeah.
And they all point to this one phenomenon.
Yeah.
You read something fascinating,
Yeah.
a huge tech story, a local political scandal, maybe just a crazy sports result.
Mm-hmm.
And in your head, it's perfect. It's crystal clear.
You get it. You understand the nuance, the context, the drama. It's all there, like in high definition.
But then you go to explain it. Maybe you're in a meeting or a dinner,
Yeah.
and you try to tell someone about it in English,
Yeah.
and poof,
Static.
all that high-definition video in your brain just turns to static.
Yeah.
You open your mouth,
Yeah.
and instead of sounding like the informed person you are, you sound like,
Big news.
Yeah.
Crazy thing.
wow. It's so painful. And the sources we're looking at call that the one-word trap.
It is, and it's so frustrating because it has nothing to do with your actual intelligence. You haven't suddenly lost 50 IQ points just because you switched languages.
No, absolutely not. And that's a crucial point the literature makes right at the start.
It's not an IQ problem, it's a processing bottleneck. Your brain is trying to bridge this gap between understanding something, which is passive,
Right.
and actually producing the language to explain it. And if you don't have a blueprint, that bridge just collapses.
So the mission for this deep dive is to build that bridge. We're going to analyze a framework that's known as the 5 W's method.
And I can hear people now, who, what, where, when, why. I learned that in like 3rd grade.
I know, I can practically hear the click of eye roll from here.
Yeah.
But stick with us.
Yeah, because we aren't looking at this as a grammar lesson. The materials we've got present this as a psychological cheat code.
A cheat code. I like that.
It's a mechanism that's designed to bypass that panic response in your brain. It's really about managing your cognitive load.
And the promise here is, it's pretty bold. The idea is that by the end of this, you'll be able to summarize any news story.
Any story, doesn't matter how complex. Geopolitics, financial jargon.
In about 20 seconds, without stumbling.
It's about taking that big, chaotic cloud of information in your head and turning it into a simple, linear checklist. And the research shows once you have that checklist, the anxiety just plummets.
Okay, but before we get to the solution, I really want to dig into the problem a little more. Because if you don't understand why you're freezing, you can't fix it.
Right.
The sources point to 3 really specific mental blocks. And the first one, this one really resonated with me. They call it the book report syndrome.
Oh, this is a classic. It's a total legacy from our school days, isn't it?
Totally.
Think about it. In school, you read a chapter of a book, and then you have to prove you read it by just reciting every single detail.
Right. Who was the minor character? What color was the king's horse? What year was the treaty signed? You miss one detail, you fail.
Exactly. So our brains are trained that way. When we read a news article about, interest rates, our brain instinctively goes, okay, I need to report everything.
You're trying to download the entire internet into one conversation.
And you just can't. The cognitive load is too heavy and you crash. You're trying to give a dense report instead of just telling a short story.
So the key is curation, not volume.
You have to be an editor, not a recorder. Which leads straight into the second block, vocabulary paralysis.
The deer in headlights moment.
Yeah, you're telling a story, it's going great, and then you hit a word like inflation or supply chain bottleneck.
And you freeze.
Yeah.
Dead stop. The whole sentence just dies right there because of one missing word.
Because we think of vocabulary as this binary pass-fail test. Either I have the word or I can't speak.
But that's a fallacy, isn't it?
Totally. You don't need the word inflation. You can just say prices are going up. You don't need arsonist. You can say the person who started the fire.
It's like we're too proud to use simple language, so we just choose silence instead. You'd rather say nothing at all than sound simple.
And saying nothing is always, always worse for connection.
Which brings us to the third block, and I think this one is the most paralyzing for professionals, the fear of being wrong.
In the era of, fake news and constant fact-checking, this anxiety is so real.
You think, okay, if I get the date wrong or I mess up the percentage, I'm going to look incompetent. So you just stay quiet.
And the irony is that silence is often read as a lack of knowledge.
It's the ultimate paradox. You stay quiet to avoid looking dumb, and in doing so, you look like you don't know what's going on.
Which is why this methodology, the 5Ws, it prioritizes structure over perfection. The structure is your safety net. If you just follow the steps, you can't really get lost.
You're just filling in the blanks.
Right. It separates what you're saying from the anxiety of how you're saying it.
So let's unpack that framework. The core is the classic 5Ws: who, what, where, when, why. But looking at the sources, it's not just about listing them, it's about the sequence.
Correct. The sequence is everything. They call it the golden thread. The brain processes stories logically, right? Someone did something at a place and time.
Where and when.
For a reason. The why. So the sequence is always who, right arrow, what, right arrow, when, right arrow, why.
It's basically subject, verb, object, but with context.
It is. And the most critical tactical move here is something the texts call the one-sentence first rule. This is a brilliant little pivot strategy.
I love this part. It solves that awful, awkward moment of silence right before you start speaking. You can feel the pressure building.
Yes, because when you decide to speak, your brain usually hasn't formulated the whole paragraph yet. And if you wait for the perfect paragraph, the conversation's moved on. You lost your chance.
So you need to buy yourself some time.
Exactly. Use a starter template, a low-stakes opener, something like, I just read a news story about, or, hey, did you see the news about?
It's like you're signaling to everyone, including your own brain, that the train is leaving the station.
The engine is running. You might not know exactly where the tracks are going yet, but you're moving.
Okay, so once the engine's running, we steer it through the W's.
Yeah.
Let's make this concrete. The source material uses this really dry, everyday example about city planning.
The bike lane example, very exciting stuff.
Right. But it's perfect for this. So if I just asked you about it and you were nervous, you might say, bikes in the city, good for traffic. Maybe.
Which is that one-word trap. It's all fragmented. You're making the listener do all the work.
Okay, so let's run the checklist instead. We're at a coffee shop. I ask what's new. You pull up that mental file. Whew.
City officials
What did they do?
announced a plan to add more bike lanes
Where?
in the city center.
When?
Just this week.
And the big one? Why?
To reduce traffic and pollution.
Okay, now put that all together, weave it into that golden sequence.
City officials announced a plan to add more bike lanes in the city center this week to reduce traffic and pollution.
It's so clean.
Yeah.
It's shockingly clean.
Isn't it? And notice what's not there. No ums, no backtracking, no, I think it was maybe. It just sounds authoritative, like a news anchor.
And the vocabulary is so simple. City, plan, week, traffic. There isn't a single complicated word in that whole sentence.
And that, for me, was the big aha moment. You don't sound smart because you use the word infrastructure. You sound smart because your sentence had a beginning, a middle, and an end. Structure signals competence way more than vocabulary does.
Okay, but does this work for everything? I mean, the bike lane thing is pretty straightforward. What about something messy, like sports or entertainment?
The framework is totally topic agnostic. It doesn't care. The source uses another example. An athlete. Let's do that one. Who?
A tennis player
Yeah.
won a major tournament
Where?
at Wimbledon
When?
yesterday
And why? This is the good part.
after returning from a serious knee injury.
Okay, put it together.
A tennis player won a major tournament at Wimbledon yesterday after returning from a knee injury.
Boom. Complete story. And that why component, after returning from a knee injury, that's the hook. That's what turns it from a boring statistic into an actual story.
Let's pause on the why for a second. The material says the why is actually the most important part for sounding intelligent. Why is that?
Because the who, what, where, and when, those are just data points. A computer could give you those.
Right.
The why requires synthesis. It shows you understand cause and effect. If you leave out the why, you're just a stock ticker. If you include the why, you're an analyst.
That's a really powerful distinction.
What?
But let me play devil's advocate here. What if I don't know the specific why? Or what if I'm just terrified that my facts are a little bit off? That fear we talked about.
That's where we get into the advanced tactics. The sources suggest using what they call safety phrases or source phrases.
I call these the don't sue me phrases.
Huh, that's pretty much it. Yes. In linguistics, it's called attribution. If you say, the mayor is raising taxes, you are stating that as absolute truth. If you're wrong.
You're the one who's wrong. High risk.
Very high risk. But if you say, according to the news, the mayor is raising taxes, or even just, I heard that the mayor is raising taxes.
Now you're just the messenger.
Exactly. You've shifted the burden of truth. If the news was wrong, well, the news was wrong. You are still an accurate reporter of what you heard. It's a psychological shield.
So phrases like, it said that, or I read that, are liberating.
Totally. It allows you to participate without putting your own reputation on the line for the accuracy of the source material.
Okay, and along with those safety phrases, the material also suggests a little vocabulary upgrade for our verbs. We all get stuck on said, he said, they said, the news said. It gets so repetitive.
Said is functional, but it's flat. It's boring. The sources list 5 high-frequency reporting verbs that cover like 90% of situations. Announced, reported, confirmed, warned, and claimed.
Ooh, warned is a great one. It carries so much more emotional weight. Scientists warned about the storm is way more urgent than scientists said there is a storm.
And claimed is the ultimate safety verb. The company claimed profits were up. That little word implies skepticism, but without you having to explicitly say, I don't believe them.
It adds that layer of nuance we talked about.
Mm.
Makes you sound like you have a real grasp on the situation.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
we filled this perfect sentence. We've got our safety phrases, our reporting verbs, our 5 Ws. But you're not just giving a speech. You're talking to someone.
Right. And this is where so many people fall down. They deliver their perfect news summary and then just stare.
The awkward silence returns.
Yeah.
You've dropped your little information bomb, and now you have no idea what to do next.
The source material is very clear on this. News is a social lubricant. It's supposed to start a conversation. So you have to flip the W's.
So you turn them into questions for the other person.
You can't, yeah. Did you hear who won? Do you know where it happened? But to really get a conversation flowing, the sources suggest 2 specific flow questions.
Okay.
Number 1, what happened next? And number 2, how did people react?
Oh, how did people react? I love that.
Yeah.
Because it moves the conversation away from dry, objective facts and into human emotion.
Precisely. Everyone has an opinion on reactions. The crowd was furious, the stock market panicked, fans were thrilled. That's so much easier to talk about than specific dates and figures. It's an open invitation for the other person to share how they feel.
Speaking of feelings, that's the final frontier of fear, right? Giving your own opinion.
Panic time.
Yeah. Your friend asks, so what do you think? Are the bike lanes a good idea? And you don't want to offend them, or you don't feel like you have the words to argue a complex point.
And that's where you need an opinion bridge. You need a soft opener.
In my opinion, is the classic, but it feels a bit formal.
A little stiff, yeah. Like you're in a courtroom. The material suggests the softest, safest option is? I'm not sure, but I think.
I'm not sure, but I think.
That's it.
That's brilliant. It's so low stakes.
It signals humility. It basically says, I'm not here to debate you. I'm just exploring an idea with you. It lowers the temperature of the whole conversation instantly.
It makes it collaborative instead of combative. I'm not sure, but I think it might actually cause more traffic. I mean, how can anyone argue with that? You just admitted you're not sure.
Exactly. It protects your ego. It gives you an escape hatch if you turn out to be wrong.
Okay, before we wrap up, I just want to troubleshoot a bit.
Yeah.
The sources list a few common mistakes that trip people up, even when they know the 5 Ws.
Yep.
The first one is that too much info error. We kind of touched on this with the book report syndrome.
The fix here is just discipline. Give the 5 Ws and then stop. Literally just stop talking. The material suggests using a closing phrase like, that's the main idea.
It's like putting a period at the end of your thought. That's the main idea. It signals to the other person, okay, I'm done. Your turn.
And if they want more details, they'll ask. Let them ask. Don't try to preemptively answer every single question they might have. It's exhausting for everyone.
The second mistake is time confusion, getting tangled up in really complex verb tenses. It had been happening before it was going to be.
Oh, it's a nightmare even for native speakers sometimes. The advice here is excellent. Just stick to simple time markers: today, yesterday, this week.
So they announced it this week. Simple past, done.
Exactly. The context does all the heavy lifting for you. You do not need the past perfect continuous tense if you just say last Tuesday.
And finally, confusing opinion with fact.
This is a critical one. Never state your opinion as if it's a news fact. The city announced bike lanes. That's a fact. The bike lanes are a disaster. That's an opinion.
If you blur those lines, the listener gets confused about what actually happened and you lose credibility.
Always use that opinion bridge we talked about. Keep a clear fence between here's the news and here is what I think about the news.
So looking at the big picture, we've got a complete toolkit here. We have the pivot to start, the 5 W's for structure, the safety phrases for confidence, and the opinion bridge for connection.
It takes something that feels like walking a tightrope and turns it into just walking on a sidewalk. It's structured, it's safe, and you know exactly where you're going.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? We've got a challenge. The source calls it the comment challenge.
You can do this in your head right now as you're listening. Pick a story. Any story. The latest phone release, a soccer match, that construction project down the street from you.
And just visualize the 5 W's, who, what, where, when, and why.
And then force yourself to build that one smooth sentence. Who did what, where, when, because why?
If you can do that, you've basically conquered the panic. You realize you don't need to be a walking dictionary. You just need to be an architect.
That's a great way to put it. You build the frame and the house will stand.
Which leads us to our final thought. We've been talking about this in the context of news, but this isn't just about news, is it?
Not at all, no. If you zoom out, this structure is the foundation of almost all clear storytelling, all professional reporting, giving a project update at work. It's the 5 W's.
Right. The marketing team who completed the report, what on the server, where this morning, when to meet the quarterly deadline, why.
Explaining why you were late to dinner. It's the 5 W's.
I, who got stuck in traffic, what? On the freeway, where, about an hour ago, when, because of an accident, why?
It's a universal framework for clarity. It stops you from rambling. It respects the listener's time.
And I think that's the key. Clarity isn't just about grammar. It's about leadership. When you speak clearly, people listen.
Absolutely. Keep asking why and keep it structured.
Thanks for deep diving with us today. Now go find a story and tell it. We'll see you next time.